everybody. Hope you guys are all doing well, and welcome to my in-depth explanation about the Disney and Fox merger that occurred this morning. It was finalized this morning. I'm going to be giving you an in-depth look and explanation into basically what happened behind corporate doors at the company offices of Walt Disney Company and 21st Century Fox. Exactly what assets Disney bought of Fox, and what could potentially be the ramifications of this merger. So let's get right into it, guys. Of course, going to start by talking about some of the specific numbers associated with this deal. This is an all-stocks deal worth $52.4 billion and $66.1 billion including debt. And as you can probably tell by those numbers alone, this is a deal of quite a great magnitude. And in fact, this is Disney's largest merger with any other company to date. Some other notable mergers include mergers with Lucasfilm, which owns Star Wars, and Marvel. When we talk about this specific deal, this is basically their largest deal to date. And if recently the Disney CFO also stated that in terms of cost efficiencies, Disney will be saving $2 billion due to this merger with 21st Century Fox. You probably heard in the news this morning that this deal has been finalized, and that's very much true from the side of the board of the directors from 21st Century Fox and from the Walt Disney Company. But the truth is that it'll take approximately 12 to 18 months to really get all the shareholders' approvals, and as well as get the entire regulatory review process done to ensure that this merger is being done in basically a fair and legal process. So even though it's technically, yes, finalized from the side of the board of directors from each company, there's still a lot of patchwork that needs to be done around the deal from, regulatory agencies as well as the shareholders to basically get us a final product. Of course, when you hear that Disney is buying Fox, your immediate thought is probably to go to just the film studio. And while that is a very major part of this deal, there are actually, in truth, many different facets to this deal. And one of the major ones, other than the film studio, is also their TV properties. So if you've ever seen anything on the FX channel or even the National Geographic channel, those are actually owned by the company 21st Century Fox, and Disney will be buying those assets. And those are just some of the major TV channels. There are a lot of regional sports networks and even international properties, such as the Star Network in India, as well as some of the 39% stake that they have in Sky in Europe. Those will also be taken over by the Walt Disney Company. And perhaps most notably amongst all of this is also Hulu, because they also have a 30% stake. Fox has a 30% stake in Hulu that Disney will be taking over. So there's going to be definitely a lot of change to a lot of your favorite, not only Fox films, but also a lot of your Fox TV networks. Not necessarily creatively, but in terms of ownership, those will all of those assets will now belong to Disney. Now we come to the part of the video, of course, where I talk about some of the great franchises and properties that 21st Century Fox formerly owned that now become a part of the Disney empire. And of course, the one that comes into every fan's head almost immediately is, X-Men and Fantastic Four. These were the only group of superheroes that Walt Disney Company did not have the rights to, and now officially Walt Disney Company has the rights to both X-Men and the Fantastic Four, which means somewhere down along the line we could potentially see a movie starring the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four, the full trifecta of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Marvel Comics. So that's something that also comes with a lot of reservations, though, because Fox has been taking a very unique and singular approach to the X-Men recently, whether it be through films like Deadpool and Logan, which have been rated R, or potentially a movie like The New Mutants, which is taking a far more horror rather than superhero approach. And there's still a lot of speculation going on as to whether or not these properties will continue to have, the creative freedom that their directors have had thus far under Fox, which means, keeping these movies very violent and very, very R-rated. So what does that mean for a company like Disney, which brands itself as a family-friendly company? Will they allow the creative freedom that Fox allowed to the directors of movies such as Deadpool, Logan, and New Mutants? Well, for now, Bob Iger says it's almost like a we'll see kind of thing, but it's almost confirmed at this point that Deadpool will stay rated R under the Disney brand, which brings up a really unique and new kind of place for Disney as a company, because for a company that has always branded themselves as a very family-friendly company, to bring on and take on a R-rated franchise could potentially be risky, or could potentially be a step in a new direction. But in terms of the Walt Disney Company's legacy, it's definitely something different that they wouldn't have done before. So, although of course there's still a lot of speculation about exactly what will happen, most Marvel directors tend to be quite happy. I just saw James Gunn's post about this, and he seemed quite happy just about the fact that they finally got X-Men and Fantastic Four under the Walt Disney Company branch. So, there's of course a lot of speculation amongst all of this, but as for X-Men and Fantastic Four, yeah, they're all reunited with the Avengers now, and there is officially potential to see all those superheroes in one movie, so that's pretty amazing. Also, another big property that a lot of people are forgetting when talking about this discussion about this merger is Avatar. And even though it might seem like, oh, Avatar is such an old movie, if you don't know already, Avatar has sequels coming out. That's right, James Cameron has been working on Avatar 2 and has mentioned that if Avatar 2 is successful, we might even get a 3, 4, and 5. Additionally, Disney has, theme parks that have, Avatar attractions. So for Disney, I think the Avatar acquisition, the Avatar brand name acquisition, is something that's going to benefit them in the long run, because Avatar has proven itself to be such a box office phenomenon previously in the past. Of course, there's also a lot of speculation as to how Avatar 2 will perform at the box office with a very different and changed box office landscape. I think in the long run, Disney will benefit from the Avatar name. So, you get all of these amazing, different kind of diverse kind of properties. Additionally, some of the other really kind of famous properties are, of course, The Simpsons, which was, one of the most beloved American TV shows of all time, which is now under the Disney name. So you get a lot of these diverse palette of Fox properties and under the Disney name. So it's all about seeing how creatively, if there will be any change or not. I believe that there shouldn't be much change creatively to any of these properties. Of course, ownership now belongs to Disney, so they can technically do whatever they want with these properties. But I think Bob Iger, from what I can tell, will not be changing a lot of the content of these properties, even if they aren't all the most family friendly or, fitting under the, Disney legacy name. That said, it's all very open-ended right now, and we can only really speculate as to what will happen to some of the most beloved Fox properties. So there's a lot that still needs to be seen, but those are just some of the major, names that Disney has now will be able to take over. Now it comes to the part of the video where I kind of talk about some of the key players in this merger, and I'm going to start by talking about the Walt Disney Company side first. If you don't know already, the Walt Disney Company CEO is Bob Iger, or Robert Iger. And the interesting thing about Bob Iger is that his contract for his job as CEO of the Walt Disney Company was supposed to expire in 2 more years, so he'd be done in 2019. But because of the merger, he's decided and agreed to basically extend his contract till 2021. So that's really interesting, because we'll be able to see far more of Bob Iger's work going into basically the nitty-gritty aspects of this merger. Additionally, now that Bob Iger is officially staying till 2021 as the CEO of Walt Disney Company, if the Avatar 2 release date continues to be December 18, 2020, as it is currently slated for, then we will see Avatar 2 release under the leadership of Bob Iger. So that'll be something really interesting, because, up till today, Avatar 2 was just a Fox property, and now we may see Avatar 2 released under the leadership of Disney CEO Bob Iger. So that'll be something really interesting to see if Avatar stays exactly where it is in terms of its release date. So now, of course, we come to the side of 21st Century Fox. The co-executive chairmen of 21st Century Fox are Rupert Murdoch and his son, and one of his other sons is the CEO of the company. So they will all be receiving shares now officially in the Walt Disney Company, and all of the shareholders from Fox will be getting a 25% share in Walt Disney Company. What happens to Fox shareholders then? Well, if you're a Fox shareholder, then for every Fox share that you own, you get 0.2745 Disney shares. So for any Fox shareholder, one Fox share equals 0.2745 Disney shares. At this point, it might seem like all fun and games for Disney CEO Bob Iger and his Walt Disney Company empire, but the truth is, with any merger and or acquisition, you also have to assume the debt of the other company. So for Bob Iger and Walt Disney Company, they will be taking on the full and complete $13.7 billion debt that Fox owes. There is some stuff that Disney couldn't touch, and that was because Rupert Murdoch, before the acquisition even happened, kind of made his own company and put in some of the assets, such as some of the Fox News and other Fox broadcasting networks, into that company, as well as his own 53-acre lot in Los Angeles that are technically still under the control of Rupert Murdoch. Specifically with that lot, that's a $425 million worth property. So for now, it's kind of unsure about what exactly will happen to that lot in the long run, but for now, it's under the control of Rupert Murdoch, and Disney can't touch it. Another reason that this merger will really help the Walt Disney Company is because they've been recently trying to compete with streaming services such as Netflix, and they've tried to basically set up their own Disney streaming service. Now, unfortunately, there are only so many movies that you can get in a Disney streaming service, and sometimes because of the lack of variety under the Disney name, there isn't a lot to offer. And so this acquisition of Fox properties will get them basically, access to a lot of beloved Fox properties and help diversify the kind of titles that they can present on their streaming service. Ultimately, guys, this is going to be considered, and remembered as one of the largest and most important mergers in Hollywood history, because you have two such big names with such important legacies. Walt Disney Company and 21st Century Fox have been around Hollywood for a very, very long time, and they're finally deciding to shake hands. And the amount of money that is being put in from Disney's side to buy 21st Century Fox, or at least buy most of the assets of 21st Century Fox, is honestly insane. So it's definitely a really big merger, and historically it'll probably be remembered as a very big merger because of the names of these two studios and their legacies, as well as the amount of money that's being put into the deal. And ultimately, Rupert Murdoch and his family basically became the second largest shareholders now in the Walt Disney Company. They own a 4.4% stake in the Walt Disney Company. So guys, this is an insanely large, merger with a lot of different facets. And as the news rolls out today, there's going to be more and more information coming out about exactly what happened. So this is the information that I got from a variety of sources online. So I'll leave the links down in the description for the sources that I use, so you can check and see exactly some more of the even more details about the deal. So be sure to check those articles out, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and do all those great things for more movie reviews and more movie related content. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.